very welcome.
Thank you so much, Sylvia.
So I would like to ask you about your experience as a woman in the field that you're working at. You have been a co-founder of an organization, SciCon,
Yes.
and you have been working in a very difficult field for women, which is
Yes.
actually construction.
Yes.
So can you tell us a little bit about your experience of working in this field as a woman, as a director? What is it like? What is
Right.
what is your experience in that field?
Right. First of all, thank you, Sylvia, for giving me this opportunity to be here and speak about women, especially women in the construction industry. To start with, I come, just a little background of my family. I come from quite a conservative family wherein women were not given the opportunity to do their higher education. Yes, basic education was given. Higher education was always maybe think about it later. But then I did my higher education after marriage because I was adamant of getting there. And when it comes to the work and the profile I have been able to gather over the years, it's not been a smooth journey for me, especially in the construction industry. If you look at the construction industry, there is very little amount of respect given to them in the industry. So you're always discounted. So when I go out and represent my company, SciCon, they reduce me to other support functions as are you in the HR, are you in the finance. They cannot fathom me being on the board and holding the co-founder's role in the company. So this has been a long, tedious journey to prove myself, yes, even women are capable of holding larger roles in the company, and especially in a sector like construction industry. So it's not been a smooth journey, but like Steve Jobs always said, the journey itself is the reward than reaching the goal itself. I have enjoyed my entire progression from being there, doing that, and then arriving on the board of the company. Even though I've been co-founder of the company, I had to prove myself to everybody, to all the stakeholders in the construction industry, that women are capable of running large organizations in the construction industry.
So that we get a sense of the struggles that women actually encounter when they actually join a board.
Right. So there are different aspects. I'm also on the board of large public organizations which are age-old, which have been in existence for more than 100 years. So these public organizations, the representation of women on the board is less than 7%, which is very, I could say, intriguing, because it comes from the heritage and the legacy of the womanhood in their entire life cycle. We've always seen that if we go back past 25 years, women were nowhere there in the corporate world or in any working space. So, but over the years, this has changed. We see more and more women taking up leadership roles, and starting up new organizations, starting up new businesses. So I'm seeing that there's a lot of migration from zero representation to at least 20-30% representation that is going to happen. But right now at this juncture, because of this legacy wherein women were not in the corporate world or any other businesses, so right now the representation is very low, and especially in the larger public companies where I'm working in several companies, you're completely discounted even today.
Even today?
Even today. You need to prove them twice as much that you're about your capability, otherwise you're just brushed aside.
Yes.
Even if you consider the new age economies, the so-called progressive companies, where is the representation? It is abysmal.
Yes.
I'm very glad that your organizations such as yours is working towards bringing women on board. If we look at the capabilities of the women, by nature, their inherent quality is being innovative. if you consider her role even at home, she has limited resources, and she has to make sure every aspect is fed within those limited resources. So she is genetically coined to work with limited resources and make sure every aspect, every function functions to its fullest capabilities. So it is there inside of women to take these capabilities and capacities to larger sections of the company. Like, if given an opportunity to be on the board, I'm sure they can beat everybody there in terms of innovation and in terms of resource mobilization and utilization. So,
fantastic.
Yes.
I totally agree. So next question, how do you think we can get more companies and investors interested in having women on board? I know there's a law,
Yes.
that public listed companies need to have women on board.
Right.
Not all of them have.
Right.
But even if they have one woman on board, how can we get them more interested in actually having more than one woman, 2 or 3?
Right. That is a very difficult question. The answer I'm still struggling to find, because in the general mindset, the larger segment is not open to having women on board. They are still talking about biological requirements of women, biological dependencies, which will restrict them to perform to their fullest. Having said that, yes, there are biological requirements, there are biological dependencies, but a woman manage that beautifully, both sides. So an opportunity needs to be given by the general community as such. This is not a phenomenon only in India, it is world over. Phenomena is the same.
Yes.
I mean, we see very little representation on the board. So given an opportunity, the amount of benefits that an organization can get through participation, it is tremendous. It will be mind-boggling. It's just that opportunity needs to be given. If we make the investors mandate in all their companies through which they are invested, getting them on board, and we also have to identify the real talent and present them in forums like this for men out there in the corporate board rooms to look at, yes, there are people who are capable enough of adding a lot of value to the organization.
Right. Yeah. Fantastic. So one last question. We also support women entrepreneurs.
Right.
And as of now in India, the representation of women CEOs is very small. It's
Right.
below 5%.
Right.
So I know you're also working for the Federation of Karnataka
Yes.
Chamber of Commerce.
Yes.
So what is it in terms of women entrepreneurs that you feel can be done?
Right. See, forums like FKCCI, there's a lot of opportunity that can be tapped through these forums. There are real two universes existing parallelly. If you look at the Cosmos and the Tier 1 cities, and then you look at the Tier 3 and the rural areas, there's a stark difference in the opportunity available to these women. So forums like FKCCI can be used to alleviate these women in the Tier 3 and the rural industry to become self-sustained, to become entrepreneurs. A lot of opportunities and given by the government for, especially for the women. So, but these people are not even aware of the schemes that have been rolled out by the government. So FKCCI can be a conduit to reach out to these rural women and first of all create awareness and then help them increase their productivity through financing by several schemes that are available through the government.
Fantastic. So thank you so much.
Thank you,
It was
Sylvia.
a pleasure talking with you.
Thank you, Sylvia.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me here.
Thank you.